Muana Fatini Izzati binti Wan Fauzi, matrix number A20A2072. So I will go with the first issue indicates, which is lack of knowledge and skills. The educational system does not cater to all students. It has been a big problem to include children with mild to moderate disabilities in conventional classrooms. There are a number of concerns, including the availability of special schools, school access, skilled teachers, and educational materials for the disabled. Furthermore, in many cases, reservations for impaired students in higher education institutions have not been granted. So because of this, they did not have any opportunities to learn or aid their knowledge for their future. Sometimes they have to do a given job or task that involve a lot of movement. So for those who have blindness, paralysis and other problems, it is quite difficult to get a job that is suitable for them. Not only that, but when they are in a negative environment because they are looked down upon by people, they also feel uncomfortable with the job and make them unmotivated to go for work. This is because there are not many things they can do with their condition of not being able to move normally. But this is not a reason for us to look down on them because they are also normal human beings who want to have a job to cover their daily expenses and their family. So I will pass to the next slide.
Hi everyone, my name is Anisha Ghani binti Jambi and my number matrix is A20A1250. Next, I will speak about the main issue of disabled people lack of opportunity to get a job. As we know, people with disabilities are people who have various types of disability, for example, impairment in hearing and vision, as well as physical and intellectual disabilities. The volatile job market and economic environment are the causes of the lack of job creation, especially for the disabled. This results in unemployment among the disabled and in turn will lead to the issue of poverty. This is because they do not have a source of income to cover their living expenses. Next, organizations are not prepared to create opportunity for the disabled because they are unable to provide suitable work based on the environment. This is because the organization need to invest millions of money to meet the needs in terms of facility and infrastructure. Most organizations consider the investment made as a burden and have to bear high costs. And this has led some employers to be reluctant to hire the disabled as they may not have the infrastructure to meet the needs of the disabled in the workplace. Last but not least, perception and attitude of prejudice against people with disabilities. Many employers refuse to hire disabled employees because of the lack of confidence in them. This is because they think that the disabled are not able to perform well and are not productive. Therefore, the level of awareness and attitude of society toward the disabled should not be influenced by myths and misunderstanding. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Rokia binti Amariski. My matrix number is A20A2262. Now I'm going to present next issues of lack for the opportunities job for disabled employees. Next issues is lack of understanding of the needs of employees with disabilities. First is most employers were unfamiliar with an incentive to the needs of their workers with disabilities because their built environments in the workplace were not disability friendly, because employers and working colleagues usually find it challenging to understand their needs and feelings. For example, co-workers sometimes resist having a disabled worker as a member of their teams. Next, why these issues occur? Because employees find it challenging to communicate and share information with colleagues and face difficulties understanding and reacting accordingly to other colleagues promptly. Why? Because disabled and non-disabled employees tend to have interpersonal communication conflict among them, leading to low productivity and dissatisfaction among the disabled employees. Last is challenge faced by disabled workers at the workplace is a misunderstanding about the tasks assigned to them. misunderstanding about the assigned reading under the impression that it was not within their scope of duty. Several studies that investigate the general population's attitude towards people with disabilities report that people often feel a high degree of social distance towards people with disabilities. Thank you, that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Aziz binti Abdullah. My number matric A20A1703. So I'll be explain about the impact of disability people towards organizations. So one of the impacts to organization is organizations can adapt in accepting disability people. Okay, this is because organizations have a lot of environments and barrier that disabled people can accept and may be uncomfortable in the firm or organizations. So other than that, we can see that disability lacks in terms of communication and also physical. So in long term, it will cause the firms and it will become a burden to the firms. Also, less productivity in the organization if they can overcome the problem or maybe the issue about disability people in accepting them in the organizations. So according to DFID, a barrier for people with disability is also discrimination, bullying, low expectation from organizations. Not just that, okay, when disabilities become an obstacle for them, the participants of disabilities employee in employee industry become so low. So one of the research that article saying that in October 2018 by Afifah Suhaimi, disability people who is working is extremely low, 0.004% from 1.53% of disabilities people in Malaysia. So this show how crucial this issue is disabilities that cannot be accepted in the firm. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Nurdamia Abdul Zamanuddin and my matric number is 830-1976. The effect of this issue is when these disabled people work in organizations or in groups of employees who do not like their presence. It will cause these disabled people to feel insecure. For managers who do not understand the culture of the disabled, especially related to their safety, will leave this group vulnerable to injury. This to some extent affects their retention in the workplace. In case of a severe accident-related disabilities, victims typically choose not to work even though they would not have to do so if they had been given appropriate duties and support facilities. Negative attitudes, inadequacy of technology and accommodation, and many other misconceptions have traditionally been bottleneck in the hiring of disabled people. Viewed from the point of view of the advantages of hiring OKU, this group brings a new perspective to problem solving that helps organizations solve their problems as well as evoke a positive work ethic. These disabled employees help in leading the new ways of dealing with problems for an organization. So, hiring people with disabilities has an easier time recruiting talented employees who are also more motivated to work.
The issue of difficulty in obtaining employment opportunities among the disabled OKU is not a new thing. There are also this group who face other side challenges such as lack of self-confidence to deal with society, their level of confidence is low and worries about not getting a job after a course, and such feelings seems debilitating themselves to face the world of work. There are also cases of those who worry employers may find it difficult to accept them to work in an organization or department given the physical shortcomings they have in themselves. They assume there are still more suitable candidates to work when compared to themselves who need priority in terms of the workplace environment. Today, society is seen as still not placing the confident in the visually impaired to work at public or private sector. This situation directly also affects employers who want taking the disabled to work with them.
Due to receiving negative feedback from the surrounding community, this also influences employers to provide employment opportunities to the disabled.
Hi, my name is Nur Alia Amira binti Zainul Arifin. My matrix number is 820A172. So I will present for the next effects is missing the talented ones. Whether the organization is large or little, the employee could always find a large number of qualified employees. However, handicapped individuals are incredibly productive because they have advanced to the point where they can perform their personal tasks. They have worked hard since childhood to fit in with normal citizens. And we are all aware that handicapped persons must put in more effort than regular people to improve their skills, since they constantly work extremely hard in all of their occupations. Every handicapped person has their own skills that no one knows about unless the organizations polish the skill by hiring them. And actually, several objective studies have demonstrated that when provided equal opportunity between handicapped persons and normal persons, handicapped persons can function on track with the general populations. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Diana Syairah binti Muhammad Zani with matric number 820A1813. So, one of the recommendations on how to overcome lack of job opportunities for disabled person is doing social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is the one who recognizes a social problem between employee and they use the entrepreneurship principles to create, organize, and manage a social venture or the process to recognize and resourcefully pursue opportunities to create any social value. Based on the above definition, it confirms that social entrepreneurs have the ability to solve problems because they can see problems as opportunities to ensure social problems can be solved as well as added value to society. Social problems or hardships are things related to society such as poverty, hunger, the disabled, youth, women, homelessness, and so on. In this regard, the problem of unemployment among the disabled is seen as one of the social problems that are still under discussion and need to find a solution to overcome this problem. Thus, social entrepreneurship can offer an alternative employment pathway for people with disabilities. Entrepreneurs should be people who inspire to create employment opportunities for the disabled, and entrepreneurs are also encouraged to take initiatives to help this group to solve employment problems.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Uwi Sarah binti Nuranan and my matric number is 820-82050. For the last recommendation for the issues lack of job opportunities for disabled person. The eyes and mouth in our work will always have discrimination across individuals, particularly the disabled, and this has made their life become more difficult, especially at work. As a result, to put a stop to this, the organization itself should take the initiative. The working organization should teach its employees that all employees are the same. They should make it plain to everyone that handicap discrimination is prohibited and will not be allowed according to Equality Act 2010. If someone on the team is discriminating against a handicapped individual, they should be told to cease and report it. Next, although disabled individuals are not like us and operate differently, they will contribute a fresh ideas and talents to the business. The team should realize the benefits of a diverse and inclusive workforce that does not exclude people with disabilities. Every employee should treat everyone fairly and equitably. When holding a conversation and assigning duties, this is when it should be used. It is vital to go through the proper terminology to use when addressing disability with your employees. This includes the direct interaction with a disabled individual as well as general workplace context. All the employees should be aware that ableist discourse will not be accepted. This includes language that is inappropriate, rude or abusive to disabled people, as well as what others may regard as banter or jokes. When discussing disability, people should also be sensitive about the vocabulary they use. They should not, for example, use pejorative or negative phrases such as handicapped, crippled, or wheelchair-bound. Last but not least, the company should ensure that no policies in the organization discriminate against handicapped people. In conclusion, several solutions can be implemented to assist disabled individuals, and this should not be a problem because all of the problems come from the people themselves. Everyone should broaden their horizons and see that all individuals are the same, whether they are normal or impaired.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Hamidwan bin Muhammad Khair. So I'll be presenting about people with disability also have the right to work. There are several types of disabilities, for example, physical disabilities, hearing disabilities, and visual disabilities. Until now, people with disabilities have not been accepted in the job market openly, even though they are also like ordinary people, only lacking in some way. They get the same standard of education as ordinary people, as example PSR, PMR, PT3, SPM, SPM, degree, and the others. So they also have almost like same knowledge and same skill as ordinary people. If the employer wants to hire a disabled employee, the employer needs to identify the appropriate job for each individual and provide the necessary facilities. For example, if an employee is physically disabled, the employer needs to modify the job task so that movement can be minimized. In addition, for employee with hearing impairment, the employer needs to write instruction easily or explain how to work with his visual demonstration. For visually impaired employees, the employer must provide work instruction in the form of recording and use a braille computer. There are several types of jobs that are suitable for people with physical disabilities, namely clerk, salespeople, and others. For visually impaired workers are telephone operator, announcer, and business service. For the hearing impaired workers are sportsmen, cook, fashion designer, and many more. People with disability also have the right to choose job and the right to have a career. Everyone has their own idea.